No, you're not dreaming. This is an Aston Martin, and no, you're really not dreaming. It is the DBRS9 GT3. But we have been dreaming of driving this for a very long time. The Aston Martin is without a doubt one of the most attractive GT machines around, and the chance to test one is one in a million. But thanks to Hexis Racing, Philippe Dumas and Clément Matteux, this dream came true on the eve of the final Super Series meet at Manicourt. And so to the track with Mathieu Zangarelli from the Pro-Am test drive, in keeping with the French GT Championship. Beautiful, isn't it? Magnificent even. In transforming into a GT3 machine, the DB9 has lost none of its style. Even better, it's gained in attitude. But there's no need to say more. You can see that for yourself. And in the Hexis Racing garage, they like it too.
C'est facile à travailler, effectivement, l'équipe en général.
Well, it's easy to work on this car, and yes, the team and the mechanics are pretty happy to be working on it.
Les pilotes
The drivers are also very satisfied. The noise is great, and the gearbox is as well. It's got a great chassis and it corners extremely well. On the other hand, there are some things that need improving. Like when we're on a bumpy circuit like Albi or Dijon, we struggled a little bit there.
Albi ou Dijon, on a un peu souffert.
As for the interior, ProDrive, charged with looking after the production of the Astons for racing, also shows off their savoir-faire. We can't smell the leather, but the great smells of the racing machine. A mixture of steel and carbon with touches of that oh-so-British refinement. For example, the Aston Martin logo engraved in carbon on the door or the ignition button. Under the bonnet, the V12 has its 48 poppet valves, one of the reasons it's a crowd favourite. 5,935 cubic centimetres, more than 500 horsepower, 600 newton metres of torque, fixed at 6,900 revs per minute. And of course, all that is hooked up to a sequential 6-speed gearbox. But now as time has come to fire up this V12, Mathieu is in the hot seat. A Pro-Am test, sure, but a pro can go first. He can warm up the tyres for Patrick, Vincent, or maybe even Jessica. Even Mathieu listens attentively to the advice of Mario, who we must thank for this time, his help and his generosity. We've skipped the warm-up laps to catch up with Zanger on his second run, in full flight. On this tight and twisty club course here at Manicourt, the car feels very agile despite its size, and we can change direction quickly without any problem. We sit deep in the bucket and you feel at home in this Aston Martin DBRS9 GT3 pretty quickly. The front is very directional whilst the rear just wants to let loose. In fact, the Aston just wants to have fun, but be careful to keep it in check. Only the traction and the shock absorbers are a little disagreeable. Luckily for our gentleman driver though, the traction control is on the job.
Eh, ça va être à moi. Mais oui, à moi. Une Aston GT3.
So our amateur is getting a little excited ahead of his go. Mathieu gets out and Patrick, he gets in. Well, he knows just how to make you feel at ease, does Mathieu. Racing this type of car is his job after all, but it's different for us. The famous V12 invades the cockpit. It's incredibly long and so easy to get comfortable. What legroom. Get to know the circuit and the DBRS9, the time to get used to all that and an incredible acceleration. Each lap sees us get faster, especially through the S's. In fact, we are less slow, if the truth be known. Matthew was right. The DBRS9 quickly sits back comfortably at the rear, ready to go straight away. He turned up the traction control a little further, so everything is fine. But the Aston is also a deceptive machine, a big car. It is tame behind the wheel and incredibly agile. The steering is precise. It's a dream to drive. A dream car, an appropriate term for this once